It's like your car, your body and your energy can be drifting off course, and you might not even know it. You can be successful, busy, and still completely out of alignment, and it's costing you more than you realize. I'm Amanda Beth, and this is my Transformation Tuesday, where I come to you every week with what I'm feeling called to speak to. And this week, it's alignment. And as I look at so many of the other shows coming up for you this week, there's a lot about alignment. So imagine driving your car. There's that song that pops in my head, riding along in my automobile, but I'll spare you the rest of that one. So you're driving in your car and you realize it's pulling to one side or the other. And most of us, for me, I kind of ignore it at first. Think, oh, it's the road. They need to fix this road, or they need, it's something else. It doesn't have anything to do with me or my car. And then eventually you realize you're gripping the wheel harder. And this is going on all the time. This is like every day. And then you see that your tires are wearing unevenly. And it just becomes a struggle to stay in your own lane. And I realized that this is exactly what's happening in our lives. We don't really realize that we're misaligned until it starts to mess with our momentum, with our emotions and our energy. Have you felt that? Hopefully this is something you can really relate to. Because I knew I was out of alignment when things that used to really light me up, that brought me so much joy and happiness, started to feel like obligations. I wasn't burned out in that traditional sense of burnout. I was still showing up. I was still getting things done. But there was a heaviness underneath it, kind of a subtle resistance, maybe even some resentment. Not full on anger, just a bit of resentment there. And it wasn't responding with clarity. I was just reacting out of habit. And that's when I knew something different had to be done. The caring part of me was flat. It it got harder and harder to care about people, and it was like uh uh and so everything was like that. And I felt myself falling back into that judgment pattern and just getting really judgy of myself and of others. I was doing all the things. I was showing up for everybody, but I was exhausted. I was foggy, and it was really disconnected from what I actually wanted. And I know I've seen that a lot in my clients too. That whole disconnect. You're doing things, but you're just not in it anymore. Your get up and go is got up and left, and you're not doing it because it's fun. And so I know now that that was my sign that it was time to realign and come back to myself. When I was in the thick of it, I really wanted to do a lot of blaming, be resentful. It was the road's fault. It didn't have anything to do with how I was driving. So there were all those things that I told myself. So today, I want to talk about 5 different signs. We'll honor Jim Hetherington's 5 of everything method. Find 5 things. So, 5 things that might indicate that you and your energy are out of alignment. You're more reactive than responsive, snapping at people, avoiding tasks at hand, overthinking. You feel like you're in that fight or flight mode where just everything is coming at you, not for you. And you're flat out in survival mode. You're tired but wired. Your body is so physically exhausted, but you can't turn your mind off. And so you're not getting the sleep. And that not being able to turn that mind off is a really big sleep problem. And it doesn't allow you to get into that rest and digest because you're so busy in fight or flight, and you're thinking through everything, and you're getting a plan for a plan for a plan, totally in overdrive. And the old tools that you have always relied on, they aren't working anymore. The things that used to help you don't, like meditations or journaling, going for a walk, taking a shower. Those things that you used to really count on. Breath work is taking forever to get to where you want to be. You can't get into your meditative thought. Your thoughts are running over your meditations. That's a sign. You're not in alignment. Things feel off, but not broken. You just can't put a figure on what it is. What is it? Where is it? How do you need to change? You're often probably feeling lost as well. You're working harder and you're getting less return. It's like you're driving with the brakes on. You keep giving it gas and you keep giving it gas and you're not accelerating and you're definitely not making it up that next hill. These signs, these aren't things that are here to punish you, but it's kind of your body's way of saying, hey, we need to pause, we need to realign, we need to figure something out here. We don't like to do this. So you don't have to understand the whole healing process to benefit from it. You don't need to understand everything that a mechanic does to fix your car. You can rotate your tires a few times, but if you don't correct that alignment issue, you're not going to save your tires. You're still going to be burning them up. Okay. The important part is that you recognize the signs. You recognize the car pulling to one side. You recognize the tires are wearing. You recognize some of those signs that you're snapping at everybody. Your judgment is up. You're feeling resentful. You're not enjoying life. Those are the signs. And then you allow someone who is trained, your mechanic, your coach, your healer, to support you as you go through these things and shift them, as you create this shift and as you create this alignment. And I always say we all have this insight, we have this ability in ourselves, but sometimes we need some directions. Sometimes we need that mechanic with those certifications and that equipment to really help our cars run smoothly. And we need the healers and the coaches and the therapists to help us run smoothly and to stay in alignment so that we can get the joys out of life that's there. And so here here feels like a good place to put in some of that theta healing, because as we talk about how this alignment brings us into clarity and into flow and confidence and ease, it's really important that we remove some of this other stuff. And that's where theta comes in. And so, in order to receive that theta work, you just say yes out loud, put it in the comments. The energetics of the theta work will be here if you're catching us on a replay. Still say it out loud. Give us a hashtag replay in the comments. It'll be awesome. So it feels like we really need to get into, let's first download the divine definition of alignment. We're going to download that, and we're also going to align that definition. So not only do you know the definition, but you have a working feeling of what it is to be in alignment. And let's remove that it's a sin for you to be aligned with your energy, to remove that obligation to put others over yourself. We talked last week about moving up that list, putting yourself at the top of that priority list. So that's also removing the obligation to care for others at the expense of yourself. And finally, let's remove that it's a sin to respect yourself. Because in order to do this work, you first have to respect yourself enough to know that it's okay and that you want this work. So if you'd like those, just say yes out loud. I'll do that theta work for you, as well as let's do some forgiveness work in there. Forgive ourselves, forgive your higher power, and anyone that helped to create these misaligned beliefs for you. Say yes out loud. Yeah, it's all about the alignment. Absolutely all about the alignment. So, if one or more of these things has like hit you, said, "Oh, she knows where I'm at." Um, you're ready to shift. You're ready to take a look at this alignment. So you can DM me down below with the word align, drop me a note, direct message me. Let's talk about where it is and how you're off center and how we can bring you back into that flow, to bring you back into your flow and your energy. We can start this process with a clarity call or certainly with one of the blueprint energy scans that I offer. Just there's a whole load of things that we can do, but definitely, start that call with me, get in touch, and we'll see where you need to be because you don't have to grip that wheel so tightly anymore. You don't have to figure it out all alone. You're not broken, you're not behind, you're just a few degrees off. And that realignment can change everything. When you're aligned, things don't just get easier, they're truer, they're real. You get to feel good again. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. If there's something else you want to hear about, definitely message me and let me know.